Back with you at Ralph Wilson Stadium. We had intermittent rain throughout the night. Temperatures right around 60 degrees. Feels a lot chillier than that down on the field. And you see the wind. That could be a factor as this game goes on. The two coaches, Rex Ryan, 6-year run in New York. He says he's put all that behind him. And today, the curtain rises on the latest chapter of his career. And there is his 54-year-old counterpart, Chuck Pagano, beginning his 4th season as Indianapolis' head coach. Still a sour taste in his mouth at the way last season ended. They'll try to take that first step towards where they're trying to head this season. The quarterbacks, everyone ready, 71,000. Solomon, what a way to start this NFL season here in Western New York.
This place is going to be rocking, and Andrew Luck talked about it. He's got to be able to deal with the crowd noise. I think it's going to be enough to have to deal with Rex Ryan and this Buffalo Bills defense. But this place is going to cause some problems for that Colts offense, and they're going to have to make the adjustments.
They broke a 23-year-old record here for season tickets sold. Jordan Gay set to kick, and there is Tyler Varga, one of the newest members of the Indianapolis Colts, and their number 3 running back, who figures to see the field today with all the injuries that they've had at that running back position. Colts win the toss, they will receive, and we are just about ready. Buffalo and Indianapolis set to begin their 2015 NFL season. Jordan Gay, that booming kick through the back of the end zone, and so Andrew Luck and company will take over from the 20, and here comes Luck, the prodigious 3-year start to his NFL coaching career. Celebrated his 26th birthday yesterday.
Yeah, everyone talks to him about the pressure of having to lead this team through the playoffs and into a Super Bowl, having to come in here into the Ralph with this raucous crowd and be able to deal with this Bills defense. Many of his teammates and coaches, they say that the word pressure is not even in his vocabulary. We'll see how he handles the adversity here today.
Pitch play to Gore on 1st and 10. Gore bust into the outside and tripped up just past that 25-yard line, a pickup of 7. Starters for Indianapolis, who talked about all the weapons that Luck has at his disposal. Up front, Anthony Costanzo rewarded with that contract extension earlier this year. This week, I should say, 4 years, as he will headline that offensive front. And Frank Gore, all-time leading rusher, the linchpin of that San Francisco offense, and their all-time leading runner through his 10-year career. As the injured Buffalo Bill is Corey Graham, the converted safety from that cornerback position, and certainly not the way that Rex Ryan wanted to start this game.
Yeah, he had to come up and try to get a tackle on Frank Gore. It looked like Frank Gore was going to get a whole lot more out of this, but there you see right there that knee to the helmet. That's where the concussion protocol is going to come into play, because right now you're going to have what's called the ATC. These are unaffiliated team neurologists who are coming out, taking a look at Corey Graham right now, and they're most likely going to pull him out. And this is not up to the team right now to be able to make this decision. It's the unaffiliated team consultant, the trainer, trained neurologist. Right now they're going to take him in for concussion protocol.
Graham, the Buffalo native, started Turner Carroll High School here. Broke into the league with the Bears as a 5th-round pick in 2005. And this is the new concussion protocol. You see removed immediately from the field when that player has been identified, something that the league will be keeping very close tabs on throughout this season. 2nd and 3, they mark it just outside the 27. Luck, as time, throws far side, and it is caught. First reception of the day for T.Y. Hilton. 1st down pickup as they move the chains for 11 yards.
Well, you can talk about all the new weapons surrounding Andrew Luck, but T.Y. Hilton remains the go-to guy. He's the guy that's going to create big plays. If they can get it going on the outside on the perimeter against this Bills defense, I mean, Frank Gore can have a good day running the ball.
6th in the NFL last season was Hilton, with over 1,300 yards receiving. That's the tight end, Dwayne Allen. who picks up 7. Good start for this Indianapolis offense. Meantime, for Buffalo, 9 defensive starters returned from a unit that ranked 4th in the league last season. Preston Brown, their leading tackler. We just saw Graham walk off the field, and Ronald Darby making the start today in that spot that is usually manned by Leotis McKelvin, who still is working his way back from injury. Frank Gore makes the first guy miss, inches closer to the 50. And Solomon, that Bills defense surprisingly on its heels early on.
Yeah, Frank Gore is really going to be the battering ram for the Indianapolis Colts offense. A tough guy to tackle. If he gets to the second level, he could grind your defense all day long.
First and 10 from midfield. Sets up the play action, completes over the middle. It's Allen wide open. There's a penalty marker back behind the line of scrimmage. It's a 27-yard pass play, but it's coming back.
Holding, offense, number 62, 10-yard penalty replay, first down.
That's Khalid Holmes, the center, Spiro. You're going to see him. He's working, I think, against Kyle Williams, number 95. You're going to see it right here. Okay, now take a look at, Williams is one of these guys. He can get, look, he's got him beat right now. And so he holds on to Kyle Williams. That was an easy throw for Luck. I think had he not held him, Luck was still going to be able to get rid of the football. They had a huge play over the middle of the field, getting the ball to Allen, the tight end. He was wide open. So the Bills have to tighten up their coverage on the back end. They're going to play good on defense today.
Colts are moving pretty well. Play clock down to 1. And all kinds of flags come in again against Indianapolis.
Third, offense, number 60, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The crowd noise is starting to cause problems for this offense. And not as much for the quarterback, Andrew Luck, as we're seeing now. This crowd creating noise and causing problems for the offensive linemen. They have to protect against a hard-charging Buffalo Bills defensive line, and they're trying to get back in their stance early. They're going to have to exhibit more poise. They're going to play well here today. This is going to be a loud stadium for 4 quarters.
A penalty called against Lance Lewis. First and 25. Gore trying to get some kind of positive yardage. Minimal gain. Tackled by Corbin Bryant today, stepping in for Marcel Darius, who's serving that 1-game suspension.
They believe in Corbin Bryant. We talked about big shoes to fill. Marcel Darius awarded that $100 million contract earlier in the week, Spiro, as you mentioned. But when you talk to Kyle Williams, Mario Williams, Jerry Hughes, they like what Corbin Bryant brings to the table. 3-year veteran out of Northwestern. He knows the defense. They believe they can rely on him to make plays.
Well, this is where this Buffalo defense can pin its ears back. 50-plus sacks each of the last 2 years. Second and 23, Luck airs it out. Intended for Hilton, it's incomplete. Excellent coverage on the play by Ronald Darby, the second-round pick and the rookie out of Florida State.
Take a look at it. Look how many Bills defenders are standing up. It makes it hard for them to know who to pick up, who to protect, but yet they still provide some protection for Andrew Luck, allow him to get rid of the ball even though it's incomplete. Great play by Darby, who was covering T.Y. Hilton on the play, but that's one of those exotic looks, Spiro, that they're going to show this offensive line. And Andrew Luck trying to confuse the protection of the quarterback so they can get a free runner and get a hit on Andrew Luck.
Where does Luck go on 3rd and 23? Far side pass. No signal yet, it's incomplete. Aaron Williams nearly had the pick, as that Buffalo defense will get off the field nonetheless.
And Andrew Luck actually had time. He had some protection. He sort of panicked. He overthrows the intended receiver, Moncrief, and there you see Williams diving for that ball. It did hit the ground, and we saw movement of the ball. They may take a look at it, but I thought the officials nailed it. That ball made contact with the ground, and it moved after making contact. Not sure that Aaron Williams maintained possession after the ball made contact with the ground.
Boy, the Colts drive looked so impressive to start. Then the penalty on Holmes.
That's right.
Penalty on Lewis. And Buffalo's defense able to recover. Pat McAfee, one of the top punters in the NFL, last year first team All-Pro, boots it away. This is Marcus Thigpen, who signals fair catch at around the 26-yard line. 36-yard punt from McAfee as Tyrod Taylor set to make his first career start when we come back. Tyrod Taylor, last 4 years as Joe Flacco's backup in Baltimore, making his first start since the Senior Bowl, his last year at Virginia Tech in January of 2011. And Matt Castle, how about this start? Wildcat, you see Taylor in motion at the top of your screen. They fake to Taylor. This is LaShawn McCoy, and that Colts defense was not fooled. Kendall Langford, the 8th-year vet, able to rack up McCoy for a loss of 6. Starters offensively for Buffalo, this was a front that struggled last year. Richie Incognito signed in early February, just 2 days after the Super Bowl. First game action for him since he served that suspension in 2013. And LaShawn McCoy, 6 incredible seasons as Philadelphia's all-time leading rusher. Taylor under center for the first time on 2nd and 16 with a screen pass. This is McCoy, plenty of real estate. First down run as he stumbles across the 40. Pickup of 20. Mike Adams, the safety on the tackle for Indianapolis.
We told you in our open that you had to get the ball to Shady McCoy. Look at him coming out of the backfield here. The poise of Tyrod Taylor. He finds him, stays with him. He's wide open. You can't forget about LaShawn McCoy. He's too good in space, and you have to, I think, be able to cater your defense to making sure he doesn't get to the next level.
McCoy dealing with a hamstring pull since August 18th. Says that he is very close to full strength. 1st and 18 from the Buffalo 41. This is McCoy. And wrapped up at run defense, a sore point for Indianapolis over the past couple of years. Another loss of a yard. Defensive starters, 2 rookies starting for the Colts. First time in their 32-year history that that's happened. 2 rookies on that D-line in a season opener. Trent Cole coming over from Philadelphia, ex-teammate, of course, of LaShawn McCoy, and Darius Butler, who started 4 games last year, starting today in place of the injured Greg Toller, who's out today with a neck injury. 2nd and 11. Taylor, quick drop out of the gun, completes near side. It is caught. That's Percy Harvin. And these two, Solomon, did not have much of a chance to work in the preseason. Harvin did not play as he dealt with that hip injury.
Tyrod Taylor talked about it. They had to spend a lot of time, away from practice, working with Percy Harvin to make sure that he had a better understanding of the body language that Harvin would present. They said that his speed is unique and rare, so being able to adjust to him, it's going to take some time.
4th team in 4 years for Harvin, a Pro Bowler in 2009. 3rd and 5. Taylor from the gun, under pressure. Here's that mobility that they're excited about. Slides close to the 48-yard line. Well short of the first down as that Buffalo possession will stall and the punt team onto the field.
What did they tell us about Tyrod Taylor? He's not a run-first quarterback. But look, pressure, blitzing with Freeman up the middle, and now he tucks it to run. Don't know that I saw him kind of running with his vision down the field looking to buy time and extend the play. He kind of took that one and took off running right away.
Colton Schmidt, excellent start to his career last season. 31 punts inside the 20, 2nd most in franchise history. Fair catch signaled by Griff Whalen, one of the backup wide receivers. So a 44-yard punt from Schmidt as they pin Luck back deep when we come back.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football. And by Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer.
There's that brand new statue of the late owner of the Buffalo Bills, Ralph Wilson, unveiled yesterday. As we welcome you back inside Buffalo, Indianapolis, scoreless, just over 8 minutes to play in this opening quarter. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots. 1st and 10, Luck, quick drop, strikes, 2nd catch for T.Y. Hilton. So dangerous in the flat. Crosses the 20 and forced out of bounds at about the 25-yard line, 16 yards and another first down.
I like the design of this play. They are able to outflank the defense, getting the ball into the hands of the speedy T.Y. Hilton. And see, when you get outside of the defense where you have more blockers than they have defenders, you can get to the next level, create an easy first down for Andrew Luck. I love the way that Luck can also change the tempo of the offense. The guys that we talked to, Spiro, said how much of control he is with this offense as we appear to have someone down on the sideline.
Appears to be an injured Buffalo Bill. We had Corey Graham have to be helped off early on, as the trainers have been very busy on that Buffalo sideline. So Corey Graham still being checked out. There is Bakari Rambo, had to be helped off the field going through the concussion protocol. Only have 2 backup healthy safeties on the active roster. There's the other one, Duke Williams, who's on the field now as Rambo continues to be looked at on the sideline. 1st and 10, Luck under center from the Indianapolis 25. Luck play action, hit on the release, incomplete. Squirted up over the head of T.Y. Hilton. And that Buffalo defense coming with the heat.
Yeah, Rex Ryan said it. They want to get a hit on the quarterback on just about every single play. And they said that even if we don't hit them, they want to create in the mind of the offense and in the mind of the opposing quarterback, Andrew Luck, that we're blitzing on just about every single play. That omnipresent pressure in the mind of the quarterback is what forced the high throw from Andrew Luck.
You see the punishment that Luck took last year, most hits in the NFL. 2nd and 10. Luck from the gun, near side throw, it's caught. And now they say he was out of bounds. It's Dante Moncrief, the 2nd-year man. So the reception is made, but stepped out of bounds right after the catch.
Well, the protection held up, but can't say enough about the timing of this route. When Moncrief came out of his break, he turned around. Luck had already thrown the ball, even when his back was turned to the quarterback. But when he turned around, the ball was right there. Just enough time for him to have a moment of separation from Stephon Gilmore to make that catch. And looks like Rex Ryan may want to take a look at it. He believed the receiver had went out of bounds. I think he even threw the red flag to challenge whether or not it was a reception.
Now that first look at the replay appeared as though
Buffalo's challenge the previous play.
So Rex Ryan and Buffalo will challenge. They'll take a look. 7:27 left in this opening quarter. Bills and Colts still scoreless.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile only on Verizon. And by the awarded rewarding Jeep Grand Cherokee.
After reviewing the play, it's an incomplete pass. The first foot to land on the ground was out of bounds. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. 3rd and 10, the 25-yard line, right hash. The game clock will start on the snap. Buffalo is not charged with the timeout.
All right, let's bring in our NFL officiating expert from New York, Mike Carey. Mike, take us through that play.
All right, guys, what you have here is one of those classic catch, no catch. In order to have a catch, you have to have complete control of the ball. Moncrief got 1 foot down, his right foot, and then before his left foot hits, he hits out of bounds again with his right foot, making that automatically incomplete.
All right, Mike, so that challenge from Ryan pays off. It's 3rd and 10 as you see Luck's early numbers. Bills coming with the blitz. Luck under duress. His pass incomplete off the hand of Frank Gore. And once again, the Colts forced to punt.
I tell you what, if Frank Gore catches this ball, Spiro, he's going to have a big play here. Now, Luck's got to take something off of it because Gore's so close to him, and it's thrown high. He's under duress, under pressure. Look at the white jerseys closing in. But if he hits him, he's going to go a long way, and that's going to be a first down. He throws it early, throws it high, is actually tipped by one other Colts player before the ball even arrived in the vicinity of Frank Gore.
McAfee's punt, booming kick fielded by Thigpen. He's going to play it from inside the 30, and he takes a smack. 48-yard punt, 7 yards on the return. Bjorn Werner, the backup outside linebacker, leading the charge for Indianapolis. Well, LaShawn McCoy already making plenty of new friends here in Western New York since joining the Bills. His Shades of Gray Foundation hosting their third annual charity softball game in Rochester. His teammates, his head coach Rex Ryan, all taking part. McCoy talked to us on Friday about losing his grandmother to ALS, Mary Branch, and what a moment for him as they try to raise money for an incredible cause. And here is McCoy on 1st and 10. And if you're Tyrod Taylor, those butterflies that had to be the size of helicopters, Solomon, he starts to settling down at this point.
Yeah, but he's relying on a guy like LaShawn McCoy, and you talked about his charity, his foundation. I think it's representative of most of the players in our league, their ability to give back in their communities in a very exceptional way. It happens more times than not.
This is 2nd and 7, little trickery. Harvin on the end around. First down run, crosses the 45, ahead to nearly the 47. Mike Adams, who was a Pro Bowler last season, on the tackle, 9 yards as they move the chains.
This is Greg Roman coming around this way, creating ways to get the ball in the hands of so many playmakers now on this offense. They struggled to score points 1 year ago, averaging only 18 points per game. One of the things that many of the players have talked about, Greg Roman has an answer for everything that he sees from the opposing defense and still find ways to get the ball in the hands of his playmakers.
Play action from Taylor on 1st and 10. Near side pass, it's caught. That's the tight end, Charles Clay. Penalty markers fly. Clay taking guys on. 3 tacklers to bring him to the turf. 15-yard pass play as we await the call from referee John Parry.
Personal foul, chop block, number 85. The tackle lured, 85 went low. By rule, that's a 15-yard penalty. We'll replay. First down.
Let's get you an update to New York, JB and Boomer.
Boomer, it's not a wide receiver, but
how about Solomon Wilcox? Where's the safety on this play? Travis Kelce, tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs, his 2nd touchdown reception of the day. Kansas City goes up 14-0 as they are in Houston. You talk about the school of hard knocks. I think the Houston Texans are getting schooled right now.
Solomon would have been there, right, Boomer?
Hey,
Spiro and Solly.
Hey, guys, I tell you what, you make a mistake on the back end in the secondary, the referee is usually holding up 2 hands signaling a touchdown.
So the pass play to Clay negated a moment ago. Clay on that catch. Pick up 5. And this was another point of emphasis, Sally, in the rule book over the offseason, the chop block.
Yeah, take a look at number 85, Charles Clay. See, right there, that, you know what, I think that's actually legal. You can chop him because he wasn't engaged with one of the other offensive linemen. And I think when the officials explained it, it said that he was engaged, and you can see clearly he was not there. That was, in my mind, a legal block by Charles Clay.
So a tough call for Buffalo to take. Clay coming over from Miami. A clear upgrade at that tight end position. 2nd and 20. The escapability of Taylor. And that pass incomplete. Off the hands of the fullback Jerome Felton, another offseason acquisition after spending the last 3 years in Minnesota.
How about Greg Minuski, defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts? Look, they're bringing everything at Tyrod Taylor, trying to speed up his process, trying to make him a little uneasy and get him on the run, and it forces the high throw to Felton, the intended fullback on that play. So Minuski's playing his chess match as well. He understands he's going up against a very young, inexperienced quarterback in Tyrod Taylor, and they're going to try to force him to make mistakes.
Colts playing without Robert Mathis, who's not played since tearing the Achilles almost a year ago to the day. 3rd and 20, Harvin trying to get close to midfield. Well short of the first down marker, needed to get to the Colts 43. There was talk, Solomon, that Mathis would try to play today. They decided pre-kick that he would sit. And so they have to play another game without their best defensive player.
Yeah, Mathis brings so much to this defense, a certain energy and obviously his ability to put pressure on the quarterback. You don't have to blitz as much when he's in the lineup.
2nd punt for Colton Schmidt. And Philip Dorsett standing back at around his own 10. Good looking kick from Schmidt. And a fair catch by Dorsett. 46-yard punt as Andrew Luck and Indianapolis coming back onto the field. Week 1 of the NFL continues later today on CBS, and for those of you on Fox, then later tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tomorrow a double dip Monday Night Football on ESPN, Minnesota and San Francisco wrapping it up. Spiro Dita, and Will Kotz, our producer Ryan Galvin, Andy Goldberg, our director, rest of our CBS crew from Ralph Wilson Stadium. You see the average start so far. Indianapolis pinned back deep. Up against it here, 1st and 10 from their own 8.
They're trying to communicate.
Luck's going to throw it. Far side, it's caught. T.Y. Hilton, multiple catches already, gets close to the 20, 12-yard pass play, and another Colts first down.
Well, he did a good job of communicating to the offensive line how to pick up in terms of setting the protection. Andrew Luck, very smart. Right now it's a chess match between he and Rex Ryan and this defense, because they're going to come after him, Spiro, on just about every single play. Even when it doesn't look like they're blitzing, they're sending someone to try to get a free runner to the quarterback.
Third catch for Hilton for 39 yards. 1st and 10, Luck from the gun. Those coming on the blitz, and that pass is incomplete. Solomon, you mentioned as we get a penalty marker on the field, pressure coming from Jerry Hughes.
Holding, offense, number 83, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Dwayne Allen, and those penalties now starting to pile up for Indianapolis.
Yeah, they're having a tough time not only identifying who they need to pick up, but actually manning up and being able to block every single defender that Rex Ryan is sending towards Andrew Luck. So we talked about it being a chess match. It's a mental process as much as it is a physical challenge. And so Andrew Luck, the offensive line, tight ends, running backs, everyone has to be dialed in to picking up these blitzers who are coming after the quarterback.
1st and 20 after the penalty. Door split out at the top of your screen, and that pass for Hilton incomplete. As that Buffalo defense holding steady, Nickel Roby, their nickel cornerback, breaking it up.
Well, Nickel Roby, he understands that when you're blitzing, it's a 3-step drop seat, ball comes out, and you can jump every single pass in that scenario. This is simply Nickel Roby trusting his blitzing defense that they're going to get there, forcing the early throw from Andrew Luck. And you know what? You can steal a pass. You can get interceptions playing behind this defensive front for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, you know that Buffalo is coming here. Andrew Luck last season, statistically, the best quarterback in the NFL against the blitz. 2nd and 20. Luck just outside his own end zone, near side of the field. It's caught. Hilton for the first down.
You got to love this. Andrew Luck, I got to tell you, his ability to just move ever so slightly, and then watch, he'll come here, but look at the vision down the field, steps up and climbs the pocket, and he finds T.Y. Hilton on the perimeter working against Stephon Gilmore.
30-yard pass play. Luck's going to take another shot. It's intercepted. Picked off Ronald Darby. Lots of real estate in front of him as Andrew Luck on the tackle. And look who's out to greet Darby. It's Rex Ryan. 28 yards on the return from Darby. And now a late penalty marker comes in on the near side.
Darby has the speed to stay with a faster T.Y. Hilton in space. Works to his advantage.
Darby making the start for the injured Leotis McKelvin. And what a start in his NFL debut.
The ruling on the field is an interception. After the interception, personal foul. Buffalo number 55. 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Jerry Hughes whistled for the penalty.
Well, what you have is you have T.Y. Hilton. He's going to be lined up top, and he's going to go deep. And then you have Andrew Luck is trying to get it there. Now watch how the ball just kind of hangs, but the speed of Darby allows him to get on that upfield shoulder. Now watch him recover and go snatch the ball, cutting underneath, and T.Y. Hilton's got to contest for the ball. He keeps drifting, but you know Luck, he'll come seeking you, turns into a linebacker whenever he throws that interception. But he's got to get, I think he's got to have his wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton, has to contest for the ball so much better than we saw on that play.
And as great as luck has been over the first 3+ years of his career, Solomon, he's not been great in season openers, just 1 and 2 through his first 3 years. That's the 6th interception that he has thrown in season opening games, and what a moment for Ronald Darby.
Did you see the speed by Darby on that play? I thought T.Y. Hilton had a step on him, and I got to believe that Andrew Luck thought that his guy would come down with the ball. And hung there for just a little bit, but Darby had the speed. Watch him close. See, he's beat right now. But see how he just drives to that upfield shoulder at the last minute. He jumps and times it underneath. You talk about winning 50-50 balls. Wide receivers got to contest for the ball when in the air. That time, Ron Darby came down with it. He won the 50-50 jump and come down with the ball play.
Darby, the second-round pick out of Florida State, where he was a member of that 2014 national championship team. Buffalo forced to burn a timeout. That'll be their first as the play clock was winding down. Well, don't miss the new season premiere of TV's #1 comedy on its new night, The Big Bang Theory, Monday, September the 21st, right here on CBS. What a way to start this season. Indianapolis, among the favorites to come out of the AFC, led by Chuck Pagano, their 4th-year head coach. Tumultuous offseason for him after the way that their season ended last January. That 45-7 defeat to New England in the AFC Championship team, and right now they're dealing with this Buffalo defense.
Yeah, they are really slamming the door shut right now on Frank Gore in the run game of the Colts, providing enough pressure on Andrew Luck to turn those pressures into picks on the back end, creating turnovers.
Charles Clay, the tight end in motion. On 1st and 10, this is LaShawn McCoy. Close to the 33, maybe to the 34. McCoy last season, his 3rd Pro Bowl appearance, 1,300 yards. 3rd best Solomon in the NFL. And he told us, look, he's accomplished everything at this stage of his career. All he cares about is winning a championship.
Yeah, he said he wants to win that championship. But, you know, he's one of those guys that understand that his productivity and the numbers that he can produce within the offense gives them an excellent chance to get closer to winning that championship.
2nd and 9, Taylor. Inside pass, it's McCoy. Crosses the 35, close to the 36. Well, since 2010, McCoy in all-purpose yards, Solomon 2nd among all players in the league at over 8,000. He can burn you so many ways.
Well, he's had more touches than any running back in the National Football League over the last 2 years, having played in that Chip Kelly offense. Even when Andy Reid was the coach there in Philadelphia, they found ways to get the ball in his hands, whether he's running it or catching it. And I think you'd expect the same here in Greg Roman's offense here in Buffalo.
There are doubts whether he'd be ready today, dealing with that hamstring injury since mid-August. That pass on 3rd and 5, bobbled and caught. Robert Woods, who dealt with his own injury in the preseason, that hip. 1st down, hook up for 16 yards.
Well, they talk about the intelligence of the quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. Look at the vision. He's not looking to run. He stayed with it, was able to get it to Robert Woods, who did bobble it, but it was a really good 3rd down play. You could see Tyrod Taylor staying in the pocket, allowing the receivers to be able to make some plays.
First ever start for Tyrod Taylor, the 50-year quarterback and former 6th-round pick of the Ravens back in 2011. First catch of the day for Woods. Taylor so far 6 of 7 for 61 yards. McCoy tripped up. That's the 3rd run that they have dropped him for a loss, and the 2nd one from that man, Kendall Langford, and they are dealing with a lot of pressure on his shoulders, all the injuries up front.
Watch Langford. He knifes right in, is able to make this play. That was just incredible. His ability to beat Sontrell Henderson, knifing in under the make a play. We've seen, of course, Kendall Langford make a play earlier in this game of that same variety where he's able to create negative yards by getting penetration into the backfield.
Langford coming over from St. Louis, signing that free agent deal. Lost Art Jones for the season with an ankle injury. Major loss in the preseason as Buffalo will have to burn its 2nd timeout. Clearly some kind of miscommunication. Game clock at 9 seconds left in the quarter. And these are some of the growing pains, Solomon, that Rex Ryan and his offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, know that they'll have to deal with a guy making his first start.
Yeah, it's also, I think, part of, the coach's first time out as well in terms of a regular season game, new coordinator, head coaches, and you've got to get those play calls from the booth down to the sideline, from the sideline out onto the field for the young quarterback. And so, it's a growing process for just about everyone. If you take a look at Greg Roman, he's on the sideline. They have the headset in the helmet of the quarterback, so they've got to be able to communicate those plays to the quarterback and get them in much sooner.
Well, Sean McCoy, in our meeting with him Friday, talked about the similarities between Roman and Chip Kelly. Says they're both so dynamic in their abilities as offensive coordinators. Taylor's going to take a shot. He's got his man Harvin caught in the end zone for the Buffalo touchdown. 51 yards as Harvin beats Darius Butler.
And if you didn't think that Tyrod Taylor could throw it, now you're going to see this here. And that's just Harvin, but watch this throw going outside of the defense. He clearly allows Percy Harvin to run underneath this one. This is a tremendous throw. That's a coverage beater right there. So if you thought that Tyrod Taylor was a run-first quarterback and couldn't sling it, Exhibit A. This guy can make some plays with his arm.
Masterful pass by Taylor, and Percy Harvin doing the rest. 5 plays, 68 yards. First career touchdown pass for Tyrod Taylor. And he does it in incredible fashion. Point after from Dan Carpenter. Perfect. And the Bills on the board first. The interception by the rookie Ronald Darby, and then Harvin, the veteran, introducing himself to Buffalo. Percy Harvin providing the pyrotechnics to close out that first quarter. 51-yard touchdown catch and the first touchdown pass for Tyrod Taylor in his 5-year NFL career. 7-0 Buffalo as we begin the second quarter. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots, rest of our CBS crew. Opening Sunday of the NFL season. 2 teams with high hopes in the AFC doing battle. Dante Moncrief lost his footing. And watching some of the players, Solomon, warm up in the pregame, it looked like the field was slick. And we saw it right there from Moncrief.
We had a lot of rain yesterday here in Western New York, and even through the night. The one might question whether or not Moncrief should have brought that ball out. And if you're going to bring it out that deep, you better hit it going downhill and use your speed to press upfield.
What a special teams play by Chris Hogan, the number 2 wide receiver. And once again, Andrew Luck with terrible field position to start a drive. You see right here, they'll begin from their own 4 as we start the second. Josh Robinson, the rookie running back, is the lone setback. Luck on 1st and 10, quick drop, passes far side, it's caught. That's Moncrief. 32 catches as a rookie last season. The 3rd-round pick out of Mississippi, tackled by Darby.
I think the Bills have found themselves a player in this Ron Darby. He's supposed to back up Leotis McKelvin, who is out of today's game. They're going to start the rookie. We expected the Colts to come after him, but he's not only a speedy player. You saw from that tackle, he could be physical as well.
McKelvin still nursing his return from the fractured ankle that he sustained last November. 2nd and 4 from just inside the 10. Buffalo coming on the blitz. Luck airs it out near side. Nearly picked again. Right through the hands of Stephon Gilmore. And Buffalo fans wondering how he dropped that interception.
Yeah, we talk about offensive players, whether it's a running back or receiver, when they drop the ball, we know they're leaving plays on the field. Well, here, I think Stephon Gilmore, you're leaving a play on the field. Rex Ryan's already holding his hands up. It happened right in front of him. He's got to come down with that ball because he's going to give his offense great field position and a chance to put more points on the board.
Low snap. Luck fields on 3rd and 4, and that pass is caught. What a play.
Wow.
And what a pass. Andre Johnson with his first catch as a Colt. 8 yards and an Indy first down.
I got to believe when you're in tough situations like this, as you see Andre Johnson knifing underneath Ron Darby to make that play, he needed to get in front of the defender to make the play. Now we see they come back very quickly, getting the ball to the tight end, to Wayne Allen in the flat.
So many weapons at Luck's disposal, and Andre Johnson, by the way, has now caught a pass, Solomon, from 11 different quarterbacks over his career. That ties him for 5th among active wide receivers.
You can see how it's gone today for the Indianapolis Colts. Only 3 rushing plays, 16 pass plays. They've got to be able to rely on the run game. Balance the thing out a little bit more. If you can run it on this Bills defense, they've got to stack the box. It gives you single coverage on the outside. So going to have to balance it up a little bit for the offensive play caller, Pep Hamilton.
Play clock down to 1. 2nd and 7. Luck sacked.
Well, they send everyone. You've got linebackers. You got defensive linemen. Look, they crowd the line of scrimmage, and Aaron Williams, the safety, 23, he's pressuring. And then Preston Brown, Nigel Bradham, the 2 inside linebackers, getting home on the play as well. They did a really good job of speeding up the clock of Andrew Luck. The protection broke down up front. I think Luck just did a really good job of holding on to the ball, not turning it over, Spiro. Now they're faced with 3rd and long. What they cannot risk here if you're the Colts is turning over the football.
Well, Rex Ryan said that Luck would have to pick himself up off the turf a few times. And that's exactly been the case till this point. Colts will take a timeout, down 7 on CBS. Oh, your weekend starts here with Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. In our debut, Peyton Manning and the Broncos face off against Alex Smith and the Chiefs right here on your home for Super Bowl 50, CBS Sports. And what a start for Kansas City, up right now in Houston, Solomon, 17-6 as they play in the second quarter.
Great way to kick off our Thursday night coverage with 2 quarterbacks who you know can put up some huge numbers. I don't think Peyton Manning's done at all. I know everyone wants to write him off, Spiro, but wait and see. He'll still put up big numbers in 2015.
3 straight division titles for the Denver Broncos. 3rd and 10 for Luck. He'll work from the shotgun. Colts pick up the blitz. Luck, more athletic than people give him credit for, and right there, able to cross the 30. A penalty flag is thrown. It's a first down run if it stands, but boy, these penalties against the Colts have just been so huge in this first half.
Holding, offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
Oh, Anthony Costanzo, he literally tackles Jerry Hughes, number 55. His former teammate had once played for the Colts. And watch Hughes come off the top of your screen right here. He comes underneath, but then see him? Look, watch him tackle him to the ground. As he's coming in, barreling in on Andrew Luck. Got the arm wrapped around his waist, drags him to the ground, but the officials caught it.
Hughes, the former first-round pick of the Colts, his career renaissance began here in Buffalo. Multiple sacks for Hughes each of the last 2 years. 3rd and 20. This is T.Y. Hilton, crosses the 15. The catch and run takes him to the 18-yard line. Nigel Bradham on the tackle after a pickup of 8. And that Indianapolis punt team that has been busy back onto the field as this Buffalo defense, Solomon, holding firm in this first half.
Well, they're doing a good job of what we call disguise, deceive, and disrupt. That's what they're doing to this offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. They're disguising their coverages, they're deceiving the protection scheme, and disrupting everything Andrew Luck wants to do on offense.
3rd punt for the All-Pro punter, Pat McAfee. And Marcus Thigpen watches it bounce out of bounds just inside that 35-yard line. 48-yard punt from McAfee. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before. And by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement.
Seven 0 Buffalo in front of 71,000 plus here at Ralph Wilson Stadium. A 51-yard touchdown strike between Tyrod Taylor and Percy Harvin, the difference on the final play of that first quarter. Clay in motion, 1st and 10 from just inside the 34. Taylor, play action, has time, slings it over the middle. It's caught inside Colts territory. LaShawn make it to Charles Clay. The ball came loose. It's a 28-yard pass play, and Buffalo will retain possession. So, Solomon, that was a live football, and Clay able to fall on it.
Yeah, and Clay is able to shake loose in coverage. Take a look at him coming off the right side of your screen. Tyrod Taylor does a wonderful job of really throwing the receiver open. Look at him finding the open space. And Clay's got to do a better job of making sure he secures the ball. If you're going to get back up, you got to make sure you hold on to the football.
Second catch for Clay, 33 yards, 1st and 10. Here's McCoy.
Wow.
Making a miss. Look at that juke step move. Just put his cleat in the turf and bounced to the outside. Darius Butler forces him out of bounds. Didn't show any ill effects from that hammy on that play. 7-yard run.
Look at this. He had him dead to rights in the backfield. He's able to shake loose from one defender at point-blank range. We talk about making defenders miss in a phone booth. Not a lot of space. And LaShawn McCoy has proven over the course of his career he can shake the best of defenders to be able to create productivity running the football. That was an excellent run.
McCoy putting him in a blender. Just 2 years removed from his NFL rushing crown in 2013. On 2nd and 3, McCoy inches closer to that first down marker. Appears to have enough. Another Buffalo first down. Solomon, how impressed have you been with Taylor and so far this Buffalo offense?
Very impressed. And he's everything that we heard about in terms of what the coaches and his teammates told us, that he's a guy that doesn't look to run first, that he can make plays with his arms, he can read the defense, and he's going to work his progression. I think that's what we've seen from him. And then what a big-time throw for a touchdown to Harvin.
Toby Dixon giving McCoy a blow. And Dixon going backwards as he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage at around the 31. A loss of 3. Eric Walton on the tackle. Well, if one pill can make you a genius, what would you do? Don't miss the season premiere of Limitless, Tuesday, September the 22nd, only CBS.
You know, Spiro, coming into the 2015 season, I had the Bills as one of those teams that you kind of felt they were just a quarterback away from really being a contending team to win a division title and maybe go into the playoffs. And they've been waiting for a player like Tyrod Taylor to show up for quite some time.
Where does Taylor go here on 2nd and 13? That pass is incomplete. Excellent coverage on the play, Jonathan Newsom. As we take another look.
You know, it's not easy for a big guy like Newsom to stay with someone like LaShawn McCoy in space, but boy, that's great coverage. I think he was fortunate because he was playing blind there with his back to the quarterback, but as he made contact with McCoy, the ball had just arrived, and the officials, I think, did the right thing by keeping their flag in the pocket.
There is Newsom, 5th-round pick in 2014. Carlos Williams, the 3rd Bills running back on the field. The rookie Taylor takes the snap, finds the edge, cuts back, and here showing his versatility as he dances inside the 25, brought down by Jarrell Freeman, 8 yards on the run. As Rex Ryan will send out his field goal unit for the first time today.
Yes, I'm sorry, Spiro, but that's the kind of play you'll get from Greg Roman. Something nifty, some unique way. Remember Rex Ryan talked about it, said that Greg Roman finds a way to run the football in multiple ways. He said a lot of coordinators, they try to find multiple ways to throw the football. That one of the unique things about Greg Roman, he has a multiple running scheme, and you saw on that play, very creative, getting Tyrod Taylor on the perimeter of the defense.
41-yard attempt from Carpenter. Last year, 34 field goals, made a franchise record as the Bills tack on 3 and build on their lead. 10-0, 7 and change left before halftime on CBS. Well, fans, it's not too late to play NFL.com Fantasy. Join, draft, and play from anywhere with the new and improved mobile app. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. There is Jim Kelly a beloved sports hero here in Buffalo. His highly publicized bout with cancer looks as good as ever. And it's so good to see him here in person at Ralph Wilson Stadium. Spero Dedes, Solomon Wilcots, rest of our CBS crew, Jordan Gay. With a kick, this will be fielded by Tyler Varga from deep in his own end zone. Crosses the 15, out past the 20, and what a return by the rookie running back Varga. 30 yards on the run back, and the best field position that Andrew Luck has had today. Time now for the Wisdom of Solomon, Week 1.
And what is the 30-year anniversary of that great 1985 Chicago Bear defense? Its architect was Rex Ryan's father, Buddy Ryan, and they were number one in just about everything. Yards allowed. Number one with 34 interceptions and abusing the opposing quarterback. And now Bills head coach Rex Ryan has challenged his defense here in Buffalo to become the greatest defense in the history of the game. They're chasing destiny, and that's really what he's coaching. He's laid it out in front of them. He believes they have the talent to be that good.
One thing he said he learned from his pop, among many things, always have the threat of the blitz, and he certainly has that here with the Bills. Wow. 1st and 10 as that defense coming with the thunder yet again. Preston Brown laying a hat on him.
Wow, this is Preston Brown. Watch him coming through, nicely laying a lick on Frank Gore. And Gore is as tough as they come. But Brown letting them know that the Bills defense is trying to be as good as that Chicago Bears defense was 30 years ago.
Brown, the 2nd-round pick in 2014, making 3rd round, 2nd among all rookies last season with over 100 tackles behind only Baltimore's C.J. Mosley. 2nd and 10, play clock down to 1. They didn't get it off. Or could this be an encroachment penalty against
Offside.
Buffalo?
Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Solomon, that was awfully close. They get Jerry Hughes coming across early.
You know, this defense is so aggressive, but you've got to be able to hold your water there. Just watch the ball if you're Jerry Hughes. No reason to jump there and give the Indianapolis Colts a break there by jumping off sides.
After the penalty, they mark it just inside the 30. 2nd and 5 as Luck surveys that defense. Frank Gore split out at the top of your picture. Luck, as time completes over the middle, that's Hilton for his 6th reception of the day. 1st down hookup as they pick up 6.
Oh, that's all this offense needs for Andrew Luck to kind of get some rhythm going. Right now it's raining. Remember when Chuck Pagano came in, met with us last night, he said, is it going to stop raining? He understood that, you know, this game is really about his quarterback making plays, and the rain falling here at Ralph Wilson Stadium doesn't make it any easier.
First carry for the rookie running back Josh Robinson, the 6th-round pick out of Mississippi State. Bradham on the tackle. Robinson, one of a number of players who went down in that last preseason game. Solomon, he had a concussion. Just under 2,000 yards rushing in his 3 years in college. And they are very thin behind Frank Gore at running back. We know that Vic Ballard was ruled out today. The hamstring. Boom Herron lost in that final preseason game to a shoulder injury. He's out for the season. Not much behind Gore. Another penalty marker thrown. 2nd and 9. This one caught over the middle. That's Andre Johnson for 7 yards. And now we'll await the penalty call from our referee, John Parry.
Now you see all the Indianapolis Colts players pointing to the Buffalo Bills. Right now, the Bills are playing so well defensively, they can ill afford to, give Andrew Luck and this offense a break by creating mistakes and penalties.
There's 2 fouls in the play. They'll offset. Holding. Defense. Number 53. Illegal formation. Offense. Number 77. They'll offset. Replay. 2nd down.
That's Nigel Bradham.
Number 75.
And Jack Newhart for Indianapolis. So 2nd and 8. Penalties offset. 5:28 to play. 2nd quarter is Indianapolis offense, so prolific last year. 6th in the NFL in scoring, just under 29 per game. Looking for their first points, down 10-0. Robinson stays on the field, the lone setback on 2nd and 8. Luck under pressure, fires incomplete. Intended for Moncrief. Coverage on the play by Gilmore. It'll be 3rd and 8 coming up.
This is great coverage by Stephon Gilmore. He's just sitting in the hip pocket of Dante Moncrief. Now watch him knife in with his right arm, is able to get under the receiver and distract Moncrief just enough to be able to pry that ball loose. We talked about the defensive backs here in Buffalo. To me, I think they are the last piece to make them a great defense. Their ability to play well on the back end, come up with timely turnovers with the pressure provided up front. They ought to make a lot of plays.
Lost Corey Graham earlier. His return questionable. That pass is caught. Moncrief had to reach back for it, and he is wrestled to the floor by Bakari Rambo. 15 yards and another Indy first down.
Yeah, and Gilmore, he gambles here over to the right side of the field. Now watch Rambo, 30, makes the tackle. If he stays with it, he'll get him on the ground. But if he would have been maybe distracted for one moment, Rambo, then I think the receiver's going to break loose, and Moncrief could have had himself a touchdown.
At the moment, only 2 backup safeties on that Buffalo active roster, Duke Williams and Bakari Rambo, after Graham left the game early in the first quarter. Here's Frank Gore taking on tacklers. Crosses the 40, close to the 35. Preston Brown on the tackle, and Salmon, once he gets going downhill, Gore tough to bring down. He picks up 10.
It was just a good trap block. They were able to kick out on Mario Williams. You know, it's such a hard driving defense, that you can have some counter plays, some jokers, and even the trap plays to kick out defenders as they're coming up the line of scrimmage and getting into your backfield. It's going to create some room to run the football inside.
Corey Graham, we're now told, officially out for the rest of this game with a concussion. 2nd and a short 1 from the 37. Gore has it and more. And looks like he's upset with himself, just kind of lost his footing. Corbin Bryant on the tackle. 4 yards and a first down.
Now you talk about the aggressive nature of the Bills defense and Rex Ryan. They always want to apply pressure on the quarterback. They'll even blitz the run. But what did the Colts tell us? And Andrew Luck, he said, you know what, they're going to make some plays, but we're going to make some. And when we hit them, we're going to hit them big. So I think the Colts, they're looking to stay patient. They know that this Bills defense, while they're looking to make a play, sometimes they tend to give up a big play.
8th play of the drive that began on their own 25-yard line. See the balance in play calling. 1st and 10. Quick strike over the middle, broken up by Gilmore. Intended for Hilton.
Really good coverage by Stephon Gilmore. Very difficult to stay with T.Y. Hilton on the underneath route. Now watch him come underneath. He's able to bat that ball down. If he stays with it, he may have himself an interception. Gilmore's getting close to being able to make plays, but he's relying on that ball coming out very quickly because he understands that the pressure from his defensive line is immense on Andrew Luck, and Luck's got to get rid of the ball in a hurry.
Gilmore nearly had the pick earlier in the quarter. Luck 1 interception early on in the game as that pass is incomplete, wasn't even close. Andre Johnson, the intended receiver. And Luck will be faced with a 3rd and 10.
And you say, well, where is Luck going with that ball? He just needed to get rid of it because Mario Williams was bearing down on him. They forgot to block Mario Williams. And if you see Mario coming off the corner unblocked, Andrew Luck, you better not get caught holding on to the football.
Colts 2 of 5 on 3rd downs, as you can see, faced with a 3rd and 10 here as they continue their search for their first points. Here come the Bills on the blitz. That pass intended for Moncrief, incomplete. And Rex Ryan's defense once again able to get off the field. Mario Butler on the coverage.
Yeah, and see, they're pressuring. Look, you always bring more than they can block. Ball out quick. And Butler's smart enough to know the ball's going to come out after a 3-step drop by the quarterback, and then he throws it high to Dante Moncrief. It allows Mario Butler to make that play. So right now, this defensive line is just so overwhelming coming up front against the Colts.
52-yard attempt from the ageless one, Adam Vinatieri, and he misses wide right. Rain continuing to come down, tough kicking conditions with that wind. And Vinatieri, something you rarely see, misses wide left. And the reaction from Rex Ryan. 10-0 Buffalo on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cialis. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
10-0 Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor and the Bills offense back onto the field. That pass is caught. Percy Harvin, who had the 51-yard touchdown catch to close the first. And here's Tyrod Taylor's day so far.
Well, he's doing a really good job of managing the offense, getting the ball out of his hands quickly into the hand of his intended receivers. He said he would rely on playmakers. He does that with a 51-yard touchdown strike to Percy Harvin. The speed and the arm talent of Tyrod Taylor is helping this offense go in the early going in Buffalo.
15th starting quarterback for the Bills since Jim Kelly's retirement after the 96 season. An eternal search for a quarterback, and they hope that they have finally found their man as Tyrod Taylor makes his first ever NFL start. Bills will take their final timeout, up 10 as we get to the 2-minute warning. Tyrod Taylor, 9 of 11, 147 yards, including that 51-yard touchdown strike to Percy Harvin. He's got one timeout left in his back pocket as we hit the 2-minute mark of this first half. A little miscommunication. Taylor's going to try to make something out of nothing. It appeared as though McCoy maybe had the wrong read, Solomon, on that play. Henry Anderson, the rookie defensive end, on the tackle.
You know, sometimes we talk about quarterbacks having to go out and make plays. How about that play by Tyrod Taylor? He was able to prevent a disastrous play, what maybe could have been a turnover. He didn't panic. He didn't force the ball into the belly of LaShawn McCoy. He took it himself and really just made sure that he possessed the ball and no turnover.
Taylor from the gun on 3rd and 4. Colts coming on the blitz. Taylor eluding the sack and runs for the first down. Still going inside the 30, and Taylor forced out of bounds just shy of the 20. 31 yards on a brilliant rush by Tyrod Taylor.
What did Rex Ryan say about his young quarterback? He said, this kid's got some magic to him. And you can see right here, it's a man coverage, so the defenders had their back to Tyrod Taylor. He recognized it immediately, and that's why he tucked it and took off running, creating a big play.
Taylor, 4 years as Joe Flacco's backup, said that this was by far his best option in free agency. Clear chance at a starting job as McCoy again making guys miss. Multiple penalty markers come in at the end of that play. Once again, here's John Parry.
Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That's the center, Eric Wood, whistled on the penalty. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, we'll send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher with all the latest scores and highlights, as well as a preview of the season debut of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. It's all next on the Verizon Halftime Report. 10-0 Buffalo. And one of the better matchups here on this opening Sunday of the NFL season. 1st and 20. Taylor, they just can't seem to get to him. Finally bring him down from the back. But Taylor picks up 5. Solomon, he's so versatile, isn't he? Yeah. Anderson and Butler finally get to him on the tackle.
He is versatile, but you saw right there, he could have just taken off and ran with it and maybe tried to be more aggressive. But he still had his vision down the field. He didn't see anyone open. Of course, he wasn't going to try to force the ball in there, but I love the fact that he tried to remain patient, try to allow time for the receivers to detach from coverage and get open.
2nd and 15. That clock continues to run. Bills have one timeout. And look at Carlos Williams. Bangs into the end zone. 26 yards on a rushing score from the rookie out of Florida State.
You didn't see much of Carlos Williams in preseason. But if you got to look at him on this play, you know why they spent a high draft pick on him. 6'1", 230. Now watch him barrel in. Keeps his head up. And then when he gets to the next level, he just pulls away from the defender. Mike Adams had no shot. So he's a big guy, 230 pounds. But look at the speed to run away from the secondary.
Run defense for Indianapolis, suspect over the past couple of seasons as they get burned by the rookie out of FSU, Carlos Williams. One after attempt by Carpenter is good, and it is all Buffalo up 17-0 with 20 seconds left in the half.
Well, this is just guys falling asleep at the second level of the defense. Look, linebackers overrun it. They over-pursue. Does Freeman. It cuts back. And look at the block by Sammy Watkins. That was just a really good block against Vontae Davis. And you don't have long runs like this unless your receivers are blocking on the perimeter. Excellent run by Williams. And you could just tell, this Buffalo Bills football team, this is outside the norm. They're great on defense. They now have the weapons at the running back position. Wide receiver, Charles Clay came over by way of free agency at the tight end position. They feel like they have enough. They just needed a quarterback to show up and make big plays, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Andrew Luck as they find themselves staring at a 17-point deficit.
So much excitement around this Bills team after last season, their best record since 2004. Trying to end that 15-year postseason drought. Rex Ryan, as you expected, guaranteed that drought would end this year. And what a first step they have taken, nearly 1.5 in to their 2015 season. Tyrod Taylor getting into his troops on that Bills sideline.
Well, we said that Andrew Luck was going to have to weather the storm of adversity here today, playing in front of a hostile crowd against one of the top defenses in the National Football League. We didn't know it would get this bad, but this is a tremendous test early in the season for the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, Sean McCoy talking about Tyrod Taylor, said he's different, so unique. His intelligence at the quarterback position. A young man who has waited for this moment, taking advantage of his first career NFL start. Again, a Verizon halftime report coming up next. We'll send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by. They'll preview the season debut of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. All next on the Verizon halftime report. Andrew Luck knew that they would have their hands full here, and that is exactly the case as they will head into the locker room down 17-0 here in Buffalo. Bills will receive the football to begin the second half. That's the end of the first half. Buffalo in front of the Colts, 17-0. We'll be back with a Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. 50 right here on CBS, already in full swing. 17-0 Buffalo as we welcome you back to Ralph Wilson Stadium. Time now to take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Tyrod Taylor, first ever NFL start at quarterback, hooking up with Percy Harvin on the 51-yard touchdown strike. That was the last play of the first quarter. And Buffalo would build on their lead from that point, 17-0. Spiro Dita-Salm and Wilcots with you. You look at Indianapolis, this prodigious offense, just 148 yards of total offense. What do they do to get back in it?
First of all, they've got to stiffen up in terms of their run defense. They've already allowed the Buffalo Bills to rush for 81 yards in the first half. And then this offensive line, they got to do a better job of protecting their quarterback, Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck is going to get the ball out quickly. That means the wide receivers have to be able to create yards after the catch. They've got to create big plays. And now if you're the Buffalo Bills, you've got to continue to be able to run the football, and more importantly, defensively, continue to pressure Andrew Luck and hope you can create turnovers to be able to close this game out in the second half.
Buffalo will receive to start the second half. Meantime, if you're Taylor, 9 of 11, a $147 in the long touchdown throw. And you see Solomon, what he's done as well on the ground. 43 rushing yards as this Indy defense tries to contend with him.
Well, he is that duo threat. I think more importantly, he's looking to get the ball out of his hands as he did on the 51-yard rainbow touchdown toss to Percy Harvin, using the talent of those players around him, whether it's the tight end Charles Clay, Percy Harvin, LaShawn McCoy. That's what Tyrod Taylor has done very well in the first half. He has to continue that in the second half.
Taylor, by the way, has completed passes to 4 different receivers through one half of play. Largest Indianapolis comebacks in the Andrew Luck era. You don't have to go back very far. That postseason thriller against Kansas City, they were down 38-10 in the third quarter and came back from 28 down to win it 45-44. Pat McAfee booms it through the end zone, and here comes Taylor back onto the field as you see the first half stats.
Now look at that, 228 total yards of offense. That's what they were expecting here in Buffalo. If the quarterback showed up, put up those kind of numbers with the defense that they have here, and if you can create the turnovers, the Bills believe they have a winning formula. It's what Rex Ryan wants to do. Run the football, play great defense, and have a quarterback who can protect the ball and make a few plays.
Sean McCoy's Buffalo debut, a success till this point. Maybe not statistically, but he has had some incredible moments making guys miss in the open field. 1st and 10, Taylor with a sidearm slingshot. This is McCoy right on cue. Crosses the 35 to the 40 and finally run out of bounds by the safety, Dwight Lowry. 22 yards on the catch and run from McCoy.
Well, watch the safety, Mike Adams. He's blitzing on the play. But see, 29, watch it. He's got to cover LaShawn McCoy. You go chasing the quarterback, and Tyrod Taylor, he stays poised and flips it over to LaShawn McCoy for a huge gain on the play. So that's the offense being in sync, understanding what the Colts are doing defensively.
Carlos Williams fake the handoff to him. Play action. This is Clay. Breaks a tackle, sneaks into Colts territory down to the 46. There is a penalty marker coming in late behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 93, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Eric Walden's bureau, and he's got to be smarter than that because he goes after the quarterback here. Okay, look, helmet to helmet. They give you a target area where you can actually hit the quarterback and above the shoulder with the crown of the helmet. If you duck it and lean that into the face mask of the quarterback, as you saw there, they're going to penalize you.
Turns out to be a 27-yard pass play as they tack on the penalty yardage to the 12-yard catch by Clay. Rookie runner Carlos Williams set back on 1st and 10. Taylor looked in his direction and slings it far side. This is Harvin. Breaking tackles inside the 30. Had to wonder what Buffalo Solomon would get from Harvin today after he missed the entire preseason with that hip injury. I think he answered those questions pretty quickly.
Hasn't he always been a gamer? You go back to the 2013 season, he's going to Seattle. He missed all of the regular season games and all of the games in the playoffs, played in the Super Bowl, and he was like fireworks. He made so many big plays in that Super Bowl, helping the Seahawks to win a championship.
2nd and 7. Keep it on the ground to McCoy. And one thing he brings, Solomon, is a veteran presence in that wide receivers room that they didn't have last year. Sammy Watkins talked about how pivotal he's been for a guy like him. So Harvin just has given this offense a shot in the arm.
Yeah, Woods is a young receiver. Sammy Watkins, a second-year receiver. You talked about Harvin in his 7th year out of Florida. You know, he brings more than just talent. And here's a guy that you want to see him kind of stick with one team. We know he can make plays. There's always been these rumors about his inability to get along with teammates and kind of wearing out his welcome. Seems to have found a home here so far in Buffalo.
Marquise Gray in motion. This is 3rd and 8. Colts coming on the blitz. Taylor hit on the release. Completes to Robert Woods nonetheless. He has shown you a little bit of everything, and here Solomon proving he can stay in the pocket, take a hit, and make a strike.
Yeah, it's a great combination route to that side. Harvin ran off the defender, creating room underneath for Robert Woods. And then look at Tyrod Taylor standing in the pocket. We talk about throwing from the well, as he did there. He took a lick, but this kid can make plays from the pocket. So often you see these quarterbacks coming into this league, and they want to be a run-first type quarterback. He said he learned in Baltimore that he had to be able to discipline himself to make throws from the pocket.
12-yard pass play for the first down here. Here's LaShawn McCoy darting over center. Henry Anderson on the tackle. They pick up 6.
And here you see, look at it. It's LaShawn McCoy. There's a threat because you know Tyrod Taylor, he could keep it. But when you can lure one defender toward the quarterback, that's one less defender to defend against LaShawn McCoy. The coach told us they had to prepare for the read option. They expect to get it, and they're getting it here from Greg Roman's offense.
2nd and 4. Buffalo keeps it on the ground. It's McCoy into the end zone. And the floodgates have opened in Buffalo.
We said one of the halftime adjustments, what the coach needed to do.
Penalty marker is
right.
thrown.
10-yard penalty.
And it's coming back.
2nd down.
Wow. Well, they blocked it up well, but somewhere in the middle, someone held on. But the Colts run defense, they've got to show up, Spiro. Take a look here. They didn't give us a number in terms of where the infraction occurred. They're pulling Richie Incognito. They're going to run against him right here. Look at that. There's the holding of the jersey. I think that's 40 Glenn, the left tackle.
Sally, looked like there were multiple offensive linemen who had a pretty good grab of the jersey. So 2nd and 14 after the touchdown run by McCoy is negated. Play in motion. Draw play. This is Williams. Close to the 10. Dwight Lowry, the safety, on the tackle as this Indy defense at this point just trying to get off the field and hold him to 3.
But if you're the Bills, this is what you want. You begin the second half with possession of the football. Take a look at the clock. They're just eating clock, keeping Andrew Luck sideline, standing over there next to Chuck Pagano. This is the way that Rex Ryan wants to play football here in Western New York. They're going to run the ball. They're going to eat time off the clock. They're going to play what we call small ball. And if you can grind away at the opposing defense by running it, it's a great way to play.
3rd and 1. Boobie Dixon, 1st down and more. He was Buffalo's 2nd leading rusher last season behind Fred Jackson. 4 yards and another Buffalo 1st down.
Yeah, Boobie's become a fan favorite here. Take a look at him plowing through Freeman and still picks up the 1st down. I came to practice on Friday and I saw Boobie Dixon and I noticed that he had lost weight. I mean, here's a guy that's very fit, and I think he's going to be a more effective runner in 2015.
Former 6th round pick of San Francisco back in 2010. 1st and goal. McCoy bounces to the outside, lunges end zone, and appears to be short. Touchdown saving push out of bounds by Dwight Lowry after McCoy bounces out for 5.
No, he doesn't appear to have anything wrong with that hamstring. Not today. Look at this. He's showing us why they penciled a new contract for LaShawn McCoy. You're right, just a little bit short of the pylon there, but you could still see the explosive ability to get to the edge of the defense.
High formation set on 2nd and goal. Dixon lunges over the pile. Touchdown! And Buffalo builds on its lead at 23-0.
That was a statement drive by the Buffalo Bills. 11 plays, 80 yards, going right down the field. They whittled 5 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock. And it was just a physical style of play, just grinding away at that defense of the Indianapolis Colts. And that run defense proves to be their Achilles heel today. And Buffalo is taking advantage of it.
Dixon over the pile and fights his way into the end zone. That tackle by Nate Irving a little bit short for the Colts. Every touchdown subject to automatic review. Did that football cross the plane of the goal line? As they continue to take a look upstairs. And now they have confirmed it. Touchdown stands for Dixon and Buffalo. Point after attempt by Dan Carpenter. Perfect hold. And it's 24-0 Buffalo. Rex Ryan's Bills making their statement against one of the top teams in the AFC on CBS. Well, only week one, but a Colts team that still had the sour taste in their mouths, Solomon, after that performance in the AFC Championship game. Certainly not the way they expected their season to start, in a huge spot against a very tough opponent, tough set of circumstances, but right now down 24-0. Varga from inside his own end zone crosses the 15 to the 20. 23 yards on the return, and late markers come in as officials try to separate those players. Clock stopped at 9:28 remaining in his third quarter from Western New York.
After the play, personal foul. Kicking team number 33. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. 1st and 10. Timeout.
That's Ron Brooks, one of their backup quarterbacks, whistled on that Buffalo side. 24-0 Bills on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. AT&T, DirecTV and AT&T are now one, bringing television and wireless together. And by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
Indianapolis down 24-0 as we welcome you back to Ralph Wilson Stadium. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, rest of our CBS crew. 1st and 10, Luck under center. This is Gore, close to the 40. We talked about the new additions for this Indy offense. Frank Gore coming from San Francisco, and Andre Johnson, the ex-teammates at the University of Miami. Haven't heard much from Johnson so far.
Yeah, it's hard for the weapons around the quarterback to excel when the protection in front of the quarterback continues to break down.
2nd and 6. That pass from Luck incomplete. Trying to find Johnson. Stephon Gilmore on the coverage. It'll be 3rd and 6.
That ball is a high throw from Andrew Luck. See, this ball's got to be low, down where Andre Johnson could go get it. He had no shot of getting that ball. And so Luck's got to calm down. He's going to be under pressure, but he's got to deliver a more catchable ball to his intended receiver.
Luck has missed his last 4 passes. 3rd and 6. Near side throw. It's caught. That's Johnson right at the 45-yard line. And right at that first down marker, 7 yards. They do have enough to move the chains.
And one of the things we talked about in our open is how the Bills needed to get an early lead. Come out and get the early lead. You can force Andrew Luck and the Colts offense to become more one-dimensional and take Frank Gore out of the game plan.
Tyler Varga, a rookie running back out of Yale, the lone setback. 1st and 10. Luck slings it far side. It's caught. Dante Moncrief right around the 50. 7 more yards on that first down pass.
Yeah, we said at halftime, one of the adjustments I think the Colts offense needs to make, because Luck is getting the ball out of his hands. He's not taking sacks. But these receivers got to be able to shake loose from coverage and be able to create yards after the catch in order to infuse this offense with some kind of big play.
Second and 3. This is Varga. Among the biggest stories out of their training camps. Incredible story. Son of championship bodybuilders in Kitchener, Ontario. His final high school game as a football player took a crushing hit that tore a tendon below his knee. The tendon that connects the calf to the foot. Doctors told him he would never play again. There was talk that he may have to amputate his leg. And here he is, a long shot to make this roster, as Indianapolis able to move the chains and get that first down.
Well, Chuck Pagano loves tough kids on his football team. Varga's a tough player, and you know they're young running backs behind Frank Gore. But you know Frank Gore is a 10-year veteran, and you need younger guys, I think, behind him. And they're going to develop and learn to play the game the right way, playing behind Frank Gore.
Gore back on the field on 1st and 10. Allen in motion. Gore taking on tacklers right at the 43. Update time. Back to New York and JB.
Manziel pays for a pick.
Yeah, he throws an interception. Back comes Ryan Fitzpatrick. Brandon Marshall back at the end zone. 1-yard touchdown run. That's Ryan Fitzpatrick's second touchdown pass of the day. Jets lead 21-10 over Cleveland.
Back to Spiro and Solomon.
From Rex's old team to his new, Buffalo in front 24-0. Luck, a rare trip inside Buffalo territory, 2nd and 10. That pass caught. Johnson starting to look his way with a little bit more frequency. Solomon inside the 40. They pick up 5 short of the first down.
But it works for the Buffalo Bills because they're not allowing that yards after the catch. They're doing a really good job of tackling these Indianapolis Colts receivers. Once they catch the ball, you don't see one more yard gain after the completion.
Ninth play of the drive. This is 3rd and 5. Luck airs it out, caught near side. Moncrief. 7 yards and an Indianapolis first down.
But you have to give it to Indianapolis. They're continuing to fight. Down 24-0. The ball out of the hands quickly of Andrew Luck. So they're getting the ball out. That's to negate the pressure being provided by that front 4 of the Buffalo Bills.
1st and 10 from the 32. Play action to Varga. Luck has his man over the middle. Moncrief. 5th reception for Moncrief. Marker comes in at the end of the play on the Buffalo side of the field. It's an 11-yard hookup. And now the call from John Parry.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Defense number 28. Penalties decline. Result of the play. 1st and 10.
That's Darby, who had the interception early.
But you noticed how when Moncrief made that catch, he was sort of cradling the ball and almost preparing himself to be hit, where I thought he still had enough room to maybe even be able to get vertical and create more yards after the catch. And you could tell the physicality that the Bills defense is bringing. They're thinking about it in terms of the Indianapolis Colts receiver.
Allen in motion on 1st and 10. The pitch to Josh Robinson, and a rookie making something happen. Lowers his shoulder, crosses the 20, close to the 15. He picks up 7, tackled by Gilmore.
That was a nice aggressive run. He stuck his foot in the ground, got going downhill as they're taking a look at Frank Gore. And looks like they're having some kind of conversation with him. Not used to seeing him sit on the bench when the offense is out on the field.
Told you how thin they are at running back. 2 rookies behind Gore today. With Fit Ballard a stretch out with that hamstring injury. 2nd and 3. Robinson barely getting to the line of scrimmage. Nigel Bradham leading the charge. Jerry Hughes also there. It'll be 3rd and about 2 coming up.
The Buffalo Bills had the league's #1 ranked run defense in the preseason. It is carried over here today. You know Rex Ryan's going to always feel that great defense, but they cannot be riverboat gamblers and going for broke trying to get to Andrew Luck.
This would be about a 32-yard field goal for Adam Vinatieri, who missed earlier from 52. Bills coming in the blitz, 3rd and 2. That pass is caught. First down, T.Y. Hilton inside the 10.
You know, earlier in the first half, they did a much better job, did the Bills secondary, of being much tighter in coverage. Ball out quick, you've got to be there, ready to jump the ball and maybe make a play on it. Nickel Roby gets there a little late. T.Y. Hilton makes the catch just beyond the first down mark.
Hilton today, 7 catches, 88 yards. 1st and goal, Indianapolis. By far their best drive of the afternoon. Johnson, quick pass, close to the 5. Officials say stepped out right around the 6. Forced out of bounds by Gilmore.
Now, Bev Hamilton, the offense coordinator for the Colts, why would you design that play? Because you had Andre Johnson one-on-one out on the perimeter with Stephon Gilmore. You expect Johnson to create yards after the catch and maybe run it in for a touchdown. But you can see the tackling in the secondary for the Bills has been really good today.
Frank Gore, it is a calf injury, dealing with cramps. His return is questionable. Second and goal. Robinson trying to stiff arm his way through. The football comes loose. Is it still in the field of play? And now they say it was out of bounds. What a massive break for the Colts.
But it's still a loss of yards on the play. And there's a flag down. Young running backs tend to not secure the ball, as we saw on that play, much to the dismay of their head coach, Chuck Pagano.
Ball was recovered by Kyle Williams.
Gilmore tried to bat it back in bounds so that one of his teammates on the defense could have recovered it.
There's Williams, Pro Bowler for the last 5 years, heart and soul of this Bills defense.
The ruling on the field is a fumble, backwards out of bounds, as the recovering team was out of bounds when he gained possession. Prior to the fumble, personal foul, face mask, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Wow.
It's a big play and a huge break for the Indianapolis Colts. Wow, you can see the hit there, ball's going out of bounds. And instead of the Colts having the ball way back at around maybe the 30-yard line because of the face mask penalty on the Bills, and of course the officials didn't give us a number, they're going to mark it from the spot of the 5.
Saw Robinson's face mask kind of juke down, and a pivotal call against the Buffalo defense. Robinson, the lone setback. First and goal after the penalty from the 3. Luck rolling out, throwing end zone, incomplete. Intended for Hilton in the back of the end zone. Gilmore there on the coverage.
Well, they couldn't shake anyone open. And all you're going to do is you're going to get Andrew Luck rolling out to his right. You have to really contain the wide side of the field when it comes to Andrew Luck. I look for them to get the ball to one of their talented 2 tight ends, Kobe Fleener, Dwayne Allen. These guys each had 8 touchdown receptions 1 year ago.
Colts go 2 tight ends with Fleener and Allen on second and goal. Robinson inching closer, but he's short of the goal line. 92 seconds left in this third quarter. Indianapolis desperately trying to punch it into the end zone.
And they may stay with that same personnel grouping and keep these tight ends on the field. What did they do? They ran it hard. Now look for maybe the same kind of run fake with one of these tight ends sneaking behind the defense to get open in the end zone. They may try to take advantage of the aggressive nature of the Buffalo Bills defense.
17th play of the drive that began at their own 35. Jack Doyle, their backup tight end, bottom of your picture on third and goal. Luck's pass in the end zone, batted down and incomplete. Preston Brown on the coverage. Excellent defensive play. It'll be fourth down coming up.
They try to sneak the tight end Dwayne Allen out in the perimeter of the defense, but Brown all over it. Great read and recognition by number 52. That ball went right off the hands of Allen, but Brown was there to smother him as the ball arrived.
Solly, they're going to go for it. You like this call?
I do like the call. They're down 24-0. When will they get another opportunity? They're about to close out the third quarter. They need points by way of touchdowns, not field goals.
Fargo the lone setback, and Luck will have to burn a timeout. And they'll think about it a little longer. 57 seconds left in this third quarter. It'll be fourth down when we come back. Fourth and goal for Indianapolis. Football marked right at the 1. This will be the 18th play of the drive after they just burned their first time out of the second half. 71,000 bearing down on the Colts. Luck, end zone caught. Moncrief for the touchdown. And Indianapolis finally showing signs of life.
You remember that interception thrown by Russell Wilson in Super Bowl 49? It was picked off by Malcolm Butler. This is the same kind of rub play that you have with those two receivers. Johnson gets up the field. Moncrief comes underneath. The outside safety can't come over the top. Bakari Rambo gets stuck. He doesn't make the play that Malcolm Butler made in the Super Bowl, nor did he anticipate the switch by the receivers and Moncrief coming underneath. Well designed, well executed by the Indianapolis Colts.
Indianapolis electing to go for 2. Keep in mind this is a live football. Should it be picked or any kind of turnover on this 2-point attempt? Luck looking end zone. Little sling pass. He's got his man. It's Fleener in the end zone. So the 2-point try converted, and Indianapolis finally getting on the board. It took him nearly 3 quarters. But no longer flatlining here in Buffalo. 24-8 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fruit of the Loom. They test their products so you know they work. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Andrew Luck marches the Colts down. 18 plays, 65 yards, and the short touchdown pass to Dante Moncrief. They tack down 2, so 24-8. Buffalo is our score. Marcus Thigpen takes a knee as McAfee boots it into the end zone yet again. Week 1 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tomorrow the double dip on ESPN, Philly and Atlanta, and Minnesota, San Francisco in the nightcap. They are looking at the left leg of T.Y. Hilton. Solomon looks like the knee. Certainly not what Colts fans want to see. 24-8 after that 18-play touchdown drive led by Andrew Luck. Under a minute left in the quarter. Tyrod Taylor under center. This is LaShawn McCoy on 1st and 10. If you've just joined us, Taylor 13 of 15 in his first ever NFL start. Solomon just under 200 yards. He's done a little bit of everything for Buffalo.
Yeah, but you don't have to tell his offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, in this kind of situation, in this kind of game, with just over 15 minutes to go, let the run game be your friend. Eat as much time off the clock as you can and keep Andrew Luck on the sideline.
Could be the final play of the drive. This is McCoy. Ducks inside off tackle. Late penalty flag thrown in behind the play. Eric Walden, the outside linebacker, on the tackle.
Holding, offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
Third holding penalty on Buffalo in this game. That time they get Cordy Glenn, their tackle who has started 16 games in each of the last 2 years.
Clock is running. We're probably, if you're Buffalo, you don't want to snap the ball here. Want to try to get all the time off the clock you can and take it to the 4th quarter.
Field position in the Colts' favor as we reach the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll return to Buffalo next. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Oh, a new era in late night has begun. Don't miss the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Tomorrow, Stephen's got Emily Blunt, and Tuesday, Jake Gyllenhaal, only CBS. Rex Ryan starting his own new act here in Buffalo. What a start in this Week 1 AFC battle here in Western New York. 24-8. His Bills in front of the Colts. Spiro Vita, Solomon Wilcox as we begin the 4th quarter. 2nd and 19. Taylor all day to throw. Far side pass is caught. That's to tight end Clay. But not making anything happen after the catch. Tackled by Jarrell Freeman.
And you can see Clay getting up with a limp there, almost like his knee gave out or maybe slipped on the wet turf. But how about Tyrod Taylor hanging in there? And then you can see right there, kind of his foot gave way there. Did grab hold of the turf as he goes down. But he stays in the huddle.
Marquise Gray is their backup at the tight end position. Look at the breakdown in play selection so far for both teams. Buffalo's been run heavy. Going to the air here. Taylor fumbles the snap. Thankfully for him, able to pick it up. And once again, Solomon, play breaks down. He's able to make it happen. No panic in his game as he's tackled by Langford.
You know, he had his eyes down the field. Look, he took his eyes off the ball right there, and then as he's trying to clutch it, it just falls right out of his hands. It's a little wet down there on the field from some of the rain we've had, but ball security, he told us, was his #1 priority. And I'm sure Rex Ryan, his head coach, has been drilling that into his head all week long.
Third punt for Colton Schmidt. And it's a good one. Philip Dorsett backpedaling, fumbles, able to recover, and he is hammered out of bounds. Ron Brooks, 58 yards on the punt, and Dorsett loses 3 on the return and pay the price against Brooks. Oh, your weekend starts here with Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Our debut features Peyton Manning and the Broncos against Alex Smith and the Chiefs right here on your home of Super Bowl 50, CBS Sports. What a start for Kansas City, winning big right now in Houston. You see their home record last season, Solomon, where they were dominant.
Yeah, the last time they lost a home game was against the Denver Broncos. So, you know, whenever those two teams get together, I think the quarterbacks play at a very high level, good play callers on each side of that matchup.
Does Andrew Luck have any magic up his sleeve in this final quarter? Little screen pass out of the backfield. It's Gore brought down right after the catch. So Luck, the perennial MVP candidate, come from behind wins, nothing new. Solomon in his career, 12th of them, third most in the NFL over the last 3 years.
And he told us it could come down to this. He says, hey, it's going to be tough on us, but we're going to remain patient. We're going to keep swinging. Sooner or later, we're going to start to make some plays. It wouldn't be, you know, right now would be a good time for this Colts offense to start making big plays.
T.Y. Hilton, they're looking at his knee. He's being x-rayed in the Colts locker room. His return is questionable, and that is huge for Indianapolis trying to come back. 2nd and 13 pass caught by Gore. Brought down short of the 25. Tackled by Bradham and Darby. And you take away Hilton, that is one huge target that they've taken away from Luck.
I'm impressed with the tackling of the Buffalo Bills defense as you see Frank Gore limping coming off the field. They are stonewalling every single player when they have the ball, whether it's a receiver catching it or a runner coming out of the backfield. Good leverage as they close to the ball, and no yards after contact and no yards after the catch.
3rd and 10. Bills coming to the blitz. Luck eluding Williams, but then he's brought down anyway from the back. Nickel Roby.
Yeah, it is a jailbreak. The pressure on Luck has been consistent. You see the free runner, Kyle Williams. He can't corral Luck, but it forces him to Nickel Roby, who spins back and comes in from behind. Andrew Luck never sees him coming. He's able to make the tackle before Luck can hit the first down marker.
Roby given that 2-year extension during camp. Obviously making the right call of Rex Ryan. That punt nearly blocked, and a penalty flag comes in late. Appeared to be minimal contact. It's a 48-yard punt from McAfee. It was Boobie Dixon coming in on the pressure. And what a monstrous call this could be.
Wow. This could be huge. McAfee, one of the best in the National Football League in punting. What a pair of kickers they have in terms of the punter, McAfee, and their kicker, Adam Vinatieri.
Well, Boobie Dixon blocked 2 punts last year. Nearly got there that time on the block, but this one could be a monumental call.
Not allowing the kicker to come down to the ground into 26. Penalties decline. 1st and 10.
Fans reacting to the replay up on the board. And this one, a very tough call for Buffalo to take.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company and the entirely new Lincoln MKX. FedEx, solutions that matter. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
So the last call, a running into the kicker penalty, only a 5-yard penalty, would have made it 4th and 5, not enough for the first down. So the Colts actually declined the penalty, and that makes it 1st and 10 Bills from inside the 30. There's McCoy breaking tackles. Late flag comes in behind the line of scrimmage, tackled on the play by Trent Cole, longtime Eagle, and this one a hold against Buffalo.
Holding, offense, number 77, 10-yard penalty replay. First down.
4th holding penalty on the Bills and the 2nd on Glenn. Well, never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, every highlight, right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app right now. Rex Ryan trying to get a win in his Buffalo debut. You see the penalties now starting to pile up on Buffalo's side, 9 of them for 93 yards. 1st and 20 from the 19. Taylor goes through his progressions. Nowhere to throw downfield initially. Slings it near side, incomplete. First time that Sammy Watkins has been targeted. We go to New York and an update with JB.
It only takes one play, Boomer.
It really does. You know, Miami got off to a very slow start in the first half, but how about Jarvis Landry right here? 69-yard punt return to the young man from the Miami Dolphins. Miami has scored 17 unanswered points. They take the lead 17-10, and Miami defense has stifled the Washington Redskin offense in the second half.
Was Solomon that quick, Boomer?
Close.
Close, okay. Spiros.
I appreciate you giving me the benefit of the doubt, JB.
Here's Carlos Williams, who had the touchdown run earlier in the afternoon. Darius Butler, Dwight Lowry converge on the tackle. 13-yard run for the rookie.
And watch this Bill offensive line lean on the defense of the Indianapolis Colts. We said that in the second half, the Colts had to stiffen up their run defense after giving up 81 rush yards in the first half. Still leaking here in the fourth quarter.
Rex Ryan said one of their priorities today, keeping Luck off the field. Luck right now helplessly looking on. His Colts down 24-8 as we come up on 10 minutes left in this fourth quarter. 3rd and 5. Colts coming on the blitz. That pass batted up high in the air. Boy, nearly intercepted. Walden was the last man who had to touch his fingertips. Clayton Geathers initially coming in to get his hands on the football.
There he is there. And look, Tyrod Taylor stays with it. He's the one that bats it down because it looked like Freeman was going to come by and catch it. And had he caught it, he would have run it back for a touchdown.
Geathers, along with Philip Dorsett, one of the most impressive rookies for Indianapolis in their training camp. A huge defensive play as Buffalo will punt for the 4th time this afternoon. Told you about Andrew Luck, 12 come-from-behind victories over his first 3+ seasons. As a penalty comes in, appears to be a delay of game on Buffalo.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, basically, you are in 2-point conversion territory from this point out. If you're Indianapolis, as they try to get it into the end zone and cut into this deficit as quickly as they can. This is Dorsett. Fumbles the punt. It's loose. Buffalo football.
The rookie mishandles the punt. This is an opportunity, I'm sure he's thinking, with his speed and agility to go out and make a play. Looks like Randall Johnson, number 58, comes down with it. He's going to be able to fall on it, securing the ball for the Bills, giving them an opportunity to put this game on ice. Costly mistake by the rookie Philip Dorsett.
Dorsett, the first-round pick out of Miami, 29th overall selection. Second Indianapolis turnover, and that is a killer. First and 10. Draw play to McCoy as they'll try to chew up that clock. Solomon now inside of 10 minutes. And that intermittent rain has come back.
Yeah, and possibly washing away the Colts' hopes of coming here on the road and winning here in Buffalo. And the defense has got to make a play. They haven't been able to create any turnovers, haven't been able to put enough pressure on the rookie quarterback and force him to make mistakes.
Rain here throughout last night. Held off right up until kickoff. 2nd and 8. McCoy unable to get to the line of scrimmage. That's the 5th run he's had where he's been dumped for a loss, and they're showing the frustration as one of Indy's rookie defensive linemen, Henry Anderson, on the tackle.
Henderson's able to come in and make some plays. He's the 3rd-round pick out of Stanford, making some plays on this defensive line. These young guys are going to be good, but what a tough task to come in here opening week and ask them to be able to come out with a win. If you're Buffalo, you got to go ahead and keep the pedal to the metal against this Colts team. Try to get more points out of this possession.
Well, this Indianapolis defense has been the Achilles heel under Chuck Pagano over the last 4 seasons. Of course, all kinds of issues, Solomon, that they've had in the 3 postseason losses since he's been their head coach. Well, coming up next, Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens will match up against Peyton Manning and the Broncos, or you'll see Tennessee and Tampa in a battle of the first 2 quarterbacks taken. The Bengals also in action will take on the Raiders. Check your local listings right here on your home for Super Bowl 50, CBS Sports.
Tyrod Taylor spent 4 years, his first 4 years in the league, as an understudy to Joe Flacco in Baltimore. Said he learned a lot from Joe Flacco. And remember when Flacco first arrived in Baltimore, it was a defense-dominated locker room. And Tyrod Taylor said this is the same kind of team that he inherited here in Buffalo. The defense dominates this team, but he says, I just got to keep being the same guy every day.
3rd and 10, Taylor in a throw-in zone, incomplete, intended for Watkins. And Chuck Pagano told us, well, they knew about Taylor. Of course, spent some time, they overlapped together in Baltimore.
Well, he throws a nice ball. You know, there's a wind here in Ralph Wilson Stadium. It's wet, but look, nice tight spiral, just overthrown Watkins just by a little bit. They talked about this, that this is the one thing. Remember, there were 3 quarterbacks. They had to divide up all the snaps in training camp and preseason between Matt Castle, E.J. Manuel, and Tyrod Taylor. And so he needs more work with these receivers to develop the chemistry needed to connect on those plays consistently.
45-yard attempt by Carpenter, perfectly on target, and it is good. So the Bills take advantage of the Philip Dorsett muffed punt. Tech on 3. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 2. 27-8 after the 45-yard field goal by Dan Carpenter. T.Y. Hilton, a left knee injury, will not return as he has a huge ice wrap on that left leg, as if things couldn't get any worse for the Colts. Jordan Gay with another booming kick through the back of the end zone. Saturday, it's the best game from the best conference when the SEC on CBS brings you Jeremy Johnson and the Tigers against Brandon Harris and the Bayou Bengals from Death Valley. See who winds up top cat as all the hoopla begins with college football today. Next Saturday right here on CBS. 27-8 your score. As there is Hilton being tended to on that Indianapolis sideline. Luck without his top wide receiving target. Looking for some quick points. 2 Colts turnovers that have led to the 10 points for Buffalo. And that pass is incomplete. He intended for the tight end, Dwayne Allen, but Luck, Solomon just does not look comfortable with the exception of that last drive.
No, this defense is all about disguise, deception, and disruption. And you can see the 85 plays, you can see they're used to getting chunks, 20 yards or more. They had the most in the National Football League 1 year ago, but not today against Rex Ryan. He has stifled this Colts offense.
Luck, who inherited a 1-15 team as a rookie and has churned out 3 consecutive postseason trips. That pass, boy, looked like he changed his mind and pulled it back at the last moment. It is an incomplete pass.
His arm was going forward, ball slipped out, hit the ground. That would be an incomplete pass, not a fumble. But certainly they're causing some indecision in the mind of Andrew Luck. You can see there, changing his mind, not quite sure if he should pull the trigger on that pass.
Colts 6 of 12 on third downs today. That was one of the few areas where Luck felt he had to improve last season and did. 3rd and 10 from the 20. Luck has time. Over the middle, caught. That's Dorsett trying to atone for that fumbled punt. 16 yards and a first down.
I like what Luck did on that play. He brought Andre Johnson in motion just to find out if they were in man or zone. If you run with the receiver, it signifies you're in man coverage, and he was able to read it accurately.
Luck goes play action to Varga.
Wide open.
A shot far side. He's got Dorsett again. Another first down inside Buffalo territory. Forced out of bounds by Gilmore, but not before they pick up 28.
One of the rare times the defense dropped coverage. Even though Luck under pressure by Mario Williams, Luck was able to read it quickly. Found his receiver Dorsett open on the sideline.
Chuck Pagano said he's never seen a quarterback either coached or coached against that recognizes things pre-snap as quickly as Luck. 1st and 10, little sidearm delivery to Varga out of the backfield. Varga cutting back, crosses the 20, all the way down to the 16-yard line. The undrafted rookie out of Yale picks up 20 and another first down.
Oh boy, he made Nigel Bradham miss big time. That was a really nice move by Varga.
Told you about Varga's story earlier. He's never supposed to play football again after that brutal injury in his final high school game in Ontario. Splits out bottom of your screen on 1st and 10. Luck again surveys the defense. He's going to run it inside the 15, inside the 10. Tackled from the back by Jerry Hughes at the 7. 11-yard run for Luck. It'll be 1st and goal for Indy.
Oh, the real good quarterbacks have a way of knowing when the pocket is closing in around him. He's got a great internal clock, and he climbs the pocket where he found some daylight to hit the first down mark.
If Indy can score and convert it to, it would still be an 11-point game. With the clock winding down, Luck's pass for Johnson in the end zone is incomplete. And Gilmore, Solomon, after blowing that early pick, has really recovered nicely.
Yeah, watch him stay on the front side of the slanting receiver, Andre Johnson. And it puts him in between the quarterback and the receiver, what we call great leverage on the pass play to be able to make a play on the ball.
A Bills secondary that lost Corey Graham earlier to a concussion. Already playing without Leotis McKelvin. What a performance they've had today against Andrew Luck.
No crowd noise here at the Ralph. They've kind of quieted it down.
Flater in motion, 2nd and goal. Luck throwing end zone. It is incomplete. Moncrief, who had the touchdown catch earlier. It'll be 3rd and goal coming up.
Mario Butler in coverage. Gets his head around where he can find the ball. And that's where, you know, when you have defensive backs, watch him stay topside. That's where the back shoulder fade would really work in this offense for Luck and his receivers. If the defensive back is stacked on top, that's when you want to have the back shoulder fade. If the defensive back is in a trail technique, then you throw it over the top.
Where does Luck go here on 3rd and goal? Colts needing a touchdown. Luck under pressure, wide open is the tight end Allen. And Indianapolis staying alive after the 6-yard touchdown catch from Allen.
Dwayne Allen is just phenomenal. He's able to get open. See, he's going to come here. And even though the pressure is on Luck, Luck will look to his right side, but he comes clear back to the left side to find him open right there, wide open. They don't stop him coming off the line of scrimmage, and Allen comes wide open. Luck had the presence while under pressure to find him.
Allen 8 touchdown catches last year, his first of this campaign. They'll go for 2 to try to cut it to 11. Tyler Varga, the rookie runner, the lone setback. Frank Gore still has a jacket on that Indianapolis sideline. Luck throwing end zone right through the hands of Johnson.
Yeah, Andre Johnson knows he should have had this one. It's thrown hard, but down here, things have to happen quickly. Luck hits him. Andre Johnson could not hold on to it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Furious 7. One crew, one last ride on Blu-ray and DVD September 15th. And by a Subway footlong. There's nothing bigger, nothing better. Subway, eat fresh.
Football on the tee. Have to expect an onside kick here from Pat McAfee. And a 13-point football game here in Western New York. Kind of an in-between kick for McAfee. Solomon surprised with that decision.
I thought they might go with the onside kick. I certainly would. You're down by 13 points. A little under 6 minutes to go. Time is working against you, particularly when you miss on the 2-point conversion when Andre Johnson had an opportunity to nail it. Slipped through his hands because the ball is wet, and right now time working against Chuck Pagano and the Indianapolis Colts.
There's Andrew Luck. You saw their special teams coach Tom McMahon on the sideline. Well, it's Indianapolis running out of time, down 13 with just under 6 minutes remaining. Taylor pitch. This is McCoy. Unable to get to the 20. McCoy wanting to stay in bounds, keep that clock moving.
Smart heads-up play by LaShawn McCoy. He was kind of looking for daylight. Looked like he was on his way out of bounds, but then understood where he was on the field, understanding the situation, stayed in bounds, keep the clock running. I'm sure Chuck Pagano wishing he had gone out of bounds and stopped the clock.
Second and 10 from the 20. Clay in motion for the Bills. Here's McCoy. Crosses the 25, taking guys on his back. To the 26, actually, it's Carlos Williams, I beg your pardon, on the take. 6 hard-earned yards. So we'll get a timeout. It'll be 3rd down for Buffalo's offense. Well, stay tuned for the NFL Today update presented by FanDuel, time permitting. You'll join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. So Solomon, a Bills team that finished last year their best record since '04, that postseason drought at 15 years and counting, scrambling for a new coach and quarterback just days after the season ended. And all the hysteria that has ensued after the arrival of that man, Rex Ryan. This was the kind of start that Bills fans were dreaming about throughout the offseason. Still 5 minutes left. McCoy, a 1st down burst. Across the 40, 16-yard push. Jaleel Brown on the tackle for Indy.
Well, McCoy doesn't like coming out. And you can see they block it well. Richie Incognito, huge upgrade on the offensive line for this football team. Number 64, watch him get to the next level, seals off DeQuell Jackson. That's what allows LaShawn McCoy to get to the 2nd level of this defense. Greg Roman, I think, has been perfect for Rex Ryan's offense. And LaShawn McCoy has been excellent as well. The offensive line continues to rebuild and continues to improve. This offense can be pretty good here in Buffalo.
Longest run of the day from McCoy. Here's Williams. 5th-round pick out of Florida State. You know, McCoy obviously has had some monstrous games, Solomon, in his career. Today, 40 yards on the ground. He's got 46 yards as a receiver. He still looks awfully impressive in this game.
Yeah, and for a guy who told us not quite 100%, but still good enough for Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, to run the offense through LaShawn McCoy. Now, I think you got to give Jerome Felton, their fullback, a lot of credit. Greg Roman wants to run the ball in a physical way. He needs a fullback to be able to do it. And Felton, his 8th year out of Furman, he allows McCoy and Carlos Williams and these other running backs, Boobie Dixon, to be really good plugging into that offensive line.
This is Williams again. You know, we talked to Rex Ryan, and he said immediately, Solomon, he targeted Greg Roman as the guy that he wanted as his offensive coordinator. He says, we both look at football the same way. We don't care about stats. All we want to do is win. You mentioned earlier, talked about the multiple running looks that Roman comes with, and today his offense has been so versatile.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to take shots with the young quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. But then you get Carlos Williams, who was absent in the preseason but made his presence felt here today in the season opener. 230 pounds plugging it in there. Boobie Dixon is a guy that played for Greg Roman in San Francisco just a few years ago, so he understands what Greg Roman is expecting. Stick that foot in the ground, attack the line of scrimmage. He loves the physical style when it comes to running the football. The staple of his offense is finding multiple ways to be able to do that. And today they've been very good at rushing the football. 150 yards rushing on the day for this Bills offense.
Taylor from the gun on 3rd and 6. This is McCoy. Draw play. Indy defense not fooled, so the Buffalo punt team will come onto the field. For those of you that have just joined us, Tyrod Taylor making his first NFL start today. Tough spot against one of the favored teams to come out of the AFC. And it appears as though he's going to pass this first test, Solomon, with flying colors. So next week, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the New England Patriots coming to Orchard Park.
Yeah, the degree of difficulty just became more difficult. It went higher, trust me, next week against the Patriots defense, even though I thought that secondary looked a little leaky in the Thursday night game against Pittsburgh.
Contact after the punt. Crowd with that mock cheer wanted a call after Boobie Dixon was whistled for a similar penalty earlier in the quarter. 53-yard punt from Schmidt. This is what the fans were clamoring about here.
Yeah.
Have to give the punter a chance to land.
That's right. Went sliding right underneath them, and if they come down on top of you, there you go. I think that's a clear example.
That's Tyler Varga, their 3rd string running back, who's played a big role today for the Colts. So 13-point Indianapolis deficit. Colts are out of timeouts. They do have the 2-minute warning, but running out of clock with 2:36 left. Luck with the strike. Finds Cleaner, who's been quiet today. Out of bounds. That'll stop the clock at 2:30 to play. Bradham forced him out.
Yeah, the ball hasn't gone to the tight ends as often as maybe we thought, at least early in the game. Dwayne Allen does have a touchdown catch. Fleener caught one for a 2-point conversion. But for the most part, this Bills defense has been really good, keeping those tight ends hemmed in. And again, can't say enough about the tackling they've done at the second level of the defense, not allowing yards after the catch.
No Frank Gore, cramping in his calf. T.Y. Hilton out with a knee injury. So Luck fending for himself with the rest of this offense. Took a little bit of a late hit from Preston Brown, and there is the penalty marker.
Yeah, Preston Brown, you can't go to the head of the quarterback when he slides with his feet first. Now, looked like Luck was going to slide, then he said he'll get more out of it.
Late hit. Defense number 52. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So a 9-yard run from Luck, and they'll tack on 15.
See, Luck's going to go down, and then see, he starts to run again, and then he slides. And that's where Preston Brown, you've got to hold off, and you can't make contact with the head right there of the quarterback when they're sliding feet first. Now, I thought it just put Brown in a tough situation. There's nothing malicious there, but yet the rules are to protect the quarterback when they slide.
Luck On 1st and 10, underthrowing Dorsett. Coverage on the play by Roby.
Yeah, Dorsett kind of gave up on that one. He's got to work to get back underneath. That's what Andrew Luck was anticipating. And Luck talked about this as well. We talked about Tyrod Taylor trying to gain chemistry with his receivers. Luck says, hey, we've got some new components to the offense, like an Andre Johnson, like Philip Dorsett. He said, I have to spend more time with them so that we can intuitively understand one another, where I can read their body language. I know what to expect, and they know what to expect from me.
Luck on 2nd and 10. Near side pass for Johnson, incomplete. Andre Johnson, 4 catches today, 24 yards, but that critical drop on the 2-point attempt earlier in the quarter, covered on the play by Gilmore.
Yeah, it just could not connect. I mean, for some reason, Andre Johnson and Andrew Luck, it's not quite there for him, because he was open. Luck could have gotten it in there, and there's been times when the opportunity's been there, but for one reason or another, the completion's not made.
Colts out of timeouts. Play clock down to 2. Bills coming on the blitz. Luck's pass for Johnson. Not even close. It'll be 4th and 10.
Oh, the pocket was collapsing around Andrew Luck. Had to throw that one maybe a little sooner than he wanted. I thought because of the wet field, you could tell Andre Johnson's not coming out of his break and snapping it off as crisp as he would like. So he was slow coming out of the break as the ball was thrown early, just enough to throw off the timing of the route. And now we have ourselves a 4th down play, and the Colts need to convert here to stay alive.
Play whistle dead. And it looks like Buffalo called a timeout.
Timeout, Buffalo. 30-second timeout.
Maybe a little gamesmanship from Rex Ryan. 2 head coaches that know each other so well. Pagano on Rex's staff for a season in Baltimore back in 2008. So much respect between the 2 men.
Critical play here for Buffalo. You know, you get the 4th down, 2 minutes to go on the clock. You know, if you're going to be a championship team, as Rex is expecting to build here in Buffalo, you've got to be able to put teams away. You get a quarterback like Andrew Luck, who have 12 come-from-behind wins in his 3-year career, and you're at home, and you got a lead of 13 points, you got to be able to land that overhand right and put them away.
Told you about Luck, 12 come-from-behind wins in his 3+ years. 3rd most in the NFL, but right now a 4th and 10 with Indy running out of clock. Here come the Bills on the blitz. Luck, they protect. His pass is tipped and intercepted. Picked off by the safety, Aaron Williams. Inside Indianapolis territory. And that one should put it on ice for the Bills. Williams had 1 pick last year, and a veteran safety making Rex and that sideline awfully happy. 2nd interception thrown by Andrew Luck, desperately trying to get his team down the field. As he is picked off the deflection by Aaron Williams. And the Buffalo Bills will start their season with an awfully impressive home win. Aaron Williams told us on Friday, Solomon, they weren't intimidated. The utmost respect for Andrew Luck. Had the entire secondary over his house on Thursday watching tape of Luck in the offense. And what a performance by Rex's defense today.
Well, they did a really good job of stripping Andrew Luck of the run game, forcing them to become one-dimensional. The Colts only attempted 17 run plays and 49 pass attempts for Andrew Luck. Way too one-sided, way too one-dimensional. From there, the defense was able to feast. They caused the 2 turnovers, and the Bills got excellent play out of their quarterback, Tyrod Taylor.
Well, you talk about a tough 2-game start for a first-time starting quarterback in the NFL for Tyrod Taylor. Beats the Colts, and now Tom Brady and the Patriots coming to town next weekend.
Yeah, and then a week later, he's got Ndamukong Suh on the road at Miami. So he's learning early in his career that you got to be able to stand up to the big bullies in the AFC if you plan on doing special things here in Western New York.
Rex Ryan looking for redemption after the way his tenure ended in New York. What a moment for Tyrod Taylor. LaShawn McCoy looked awfully impressive at times as the Buffalo Bills open their season with a home victory over Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. And here's the upcoming schedule. Colts will go home next weekend for the Jets, who at last check were up big at home against Cleveland. What a moment between two men who know each other so well. Chuck Pagano and Rex Ryan, 1 year together in 08 on Rex Ryan's staff in Baltimore.
If you're the Colts, don't panic. Remember, last year's Super Bowl winner, the Patriots, got off to an 0-2 start and still went on to win the Super Bowl.
The final score here at Buffalo, 27-14, Bills over the Colts. Coming up next, the Ravens and the Broncos. The Bengals visit the Raiders, or some of you will see Tennessee and Tampa. Now for our entire crew, Solomon Wilcox, our producer, Ryan Galvin, Andy Goldberg, our director, Spiro Ditas saying so long from Ralph Wilson Stadium. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Coming up next, the NFL Today, presented by FanDuel.